Hello again, welcome to the game that tests your history knowledge and your geography knowledge. This is the TimeGuessr puzzle. We'll be given a series of 5 photos just like this one. For each one we have to say where in the world was it taken, but we also have to say when in history was it taken. It could be anywhere from 1900 to the present day. There's points of course the closer you are both on the map and on the timeline. I usually aim for about 2/3 to 3/4, but of course it just depends on how good my guessing is and how easy the photos are on any given day. Feel free to play along at home and leave your guesses in the comments as well. Let's start with something that looks like it's on a mountain, but I'm pretty sure that's French. So that narrows it down a lot, because there's mountains in a lot of parts of the world, but there's not French-speaking mountains, if you see what I mean. Let's start with the year. How old do we think this is? Oh, that's about Corsica. Does Corsica have these big mountains? I mean, Corsica is French, isn't it? I'll zoom in on the map in a bit and see if I can tell whether Corsica has such large mountains. Can I see any smartphones or smart technology? I don't know enough about bikes to know how modern that bike is. It's a relatively... I mean, it's not a black and white photo, so it's relatively recent. It's not the clearest photo in the world. It's decent quality, but not the clearest ever. So I might go a little bit earlier than I otherwise would. Let's go 2010. It could be last week. That was my first thought when I saw it, but I'm just thinking maybe it's a bit older. Anyway, let's zoom in to Corsica. Corsica does have Monte Cinto. 2,700 metres. Does it have any of these places mentioned? Col de Vergio, Porto Vecchio, Bocca de Vergio. That's just the same. That's the same place in 2 different languages, isn't it? Castel Vergio. Interesting. Maybe it's not on Corsica. Where else? There's not going to be anything big enough on that island, is there? Is there anything big enough on Elba? Not quite, so we'll zoom down a little bit to try Sardinia. I mean, I feel like I'm vaguely in the right place. I mean, this says Corsica with K's. I don't think that's how the French spell it. I think the names at the top are German. So it's a German person cycling up a French mountain. I might just cut my losses and go somewhere in the French Alps instead of Corsica then. I mean, as long as I'm in the right continent, then I'm going to be pretty close, aren't I? So probably doesn't matter too much. I don't think this is going to be spot on, but let's just go for Mont Blanc. Well, no, okay, we'll go for Corsica just because clearly there is a book about Corsica there, but I'm not convinced it's completely correct. But you know, it's clearly pretty close. It was in Corsica, that's good, and I was only 3 years off. It was a tiny bit earlier than I said, but I'm glad it wasn't last week, so I will take that as a win. 9,400 is a pretty good start. Oh dear. What's going on here? This looks... It's got a hippie-ish vibe. Maybe it's just me, but my first instinct is 60s. Oh, what can we determine from the location? Does that say Sydney bus? Because I was about to go somewhere in Europe, because this looks Eastern European to me, but if it says Sydney, it's going to be Australia. Bress Fabrics, does that say? That's a K. That's the logo of like convenience stores in Europe, isn't it? A K. Oh, I mean, this just doesn't look Australian to me. But that's because it's black and white rather than sunny, so I'm not sure I can read too much into that. I can't quite read any of these other words enough to know what language they're in, which is the big problem. Something, something, something. Oh, I really would not be surprised if this was in Eastern Europe, but I'm going to go for Sydney just based on the fact that I can see the word Sydney. Going for Corsica on the previous one, because I could see the word Corsica, served me well enough, so I'll follow the same logic. What year do we think? I think we'll go late 60s. Sydney bus garage or something, isn't it? We'll zoom in a bit, but I'm not going to spend ages trying to find the exact location, unlike the previous one. Well, there's a bus stop, so at least let's go there. 78, so it's a little bit later, but not too crazy, and it was in the centre of Sydney, so I'm glad I followed the signs. Not quite as good as the first one, but that's kind of everything. That's more because of the year than the location, and I'm never as good on the years as I am on the locations. I'm not usually great at the locations either. What's going on here? Is this the end of the war? That's a question. Is that southern as in Southern Rail? So is this somewhere on the Kent coast? I can't see what it says on any of these crates. IL9A, does that say? Or ILDA? I'm not sure that's helpful either way. I mean, there's a chance it's World War One, but I tend to assume things are slightly later than they are. It's a pretty big train. I think it could be start of the war as well. I'm going to go 1939, because at least then if it is World War One, I'll be a bit closer. And yeah, we're just going to go somewhere in the south of England. Let's go Tunbridge Wells, why not? It was 40. Oh, and it was Dunkirk. Oh, evacuated from Dunkirk, waiting to board a train at Dover Station. I said it was in the Kent, on the Kent coast or something like that. I should have gone even further into Kent. But by my standards, that is pretty good, both on the year and the location. Alright, what's going on here? It's another one that looks Eastern European. This one, I think I'm more confident about it being Eastern European than the previous one. There's a massive Q. Is that because of communism? For example, it could be Poland. There's no signs. These are impossible to work out without signs. They're impossible with signs some of the time. There's people queuing for a bus. But can we see where the bus is going? Obviously not. I would say 70s or 80s based on the outfits. I'd probably say more 80s, but the problem is the bus makes me think more 70s. But then we've already had one from the 70s today. I tend to assume they're not going to do the same decade twice, but I'm not sure if that's actually turned out to be the case. I mean, this could be anywhere. I mean, I'm not convinced it's Poland just because it looks a lot less snowy than I remember. But who knows? It's a red and white bus. That's the flag of Poland. That could be a coincidence. Let's just go 83. And we'll go somewhere south in Poland, because then at least it's close to some of the other countries. Let's just go for Krakow. Even though I don't think it's Krakow, but I don't know where it is instead. Oh, it was 60 and it was in Poland. So I wasn't completely crazy. I should have listened to the bus rather than the outfits. I should have gone earlier. I said it wouldn't be the 70s because the previous one was the 70s, but I just went later instead of earlier. I was put off by the fact that it was not in black and white, actually. That's why I didn't think it was earlier. But I feel like I'm a bit unlucky to get 0 for the year, but at least I got a decent score for the location. What about number 5? Ritz crackers. Does it actually say the word crackers? Does that say a $300 rebate or something like that? So I think that means we're going in America. But the trouble with going in America is you could be on completely the wrong coast. Even if you're in the right country, you could be miles away. What have we got going on here? I mean, this looks hippies as well. This looks 60s. Everything looks 60s. What does that say? West Virginia, I think is what it says. So maybe it's students from West Virginia Uni. I think that's the best guess I've got. That's a Band-Aid. Yeah, it's definitely in English. So I think we're gonna have to go in America. That's a washboard. It's got to be 60s, hasn't it? Let's go 68. Where is West Virginia? Here we go. It's one of the big universities in West Virginia. There might be, but I don't know where it is. So we're going for Charleston anyway. There we go. 84? And it was the other coast. Oh, that is unfortunate on both counts. I should have kept up my... to be fair, I was going to say I should have kept up my logic that they never duplicate a decade. But then the problem with that is I might have gone for 50s rather than 80s, because this looked so much older than the previous one. I really am bad at telling when a photo is in black and white. That is not a good way to finish. That's a shame. I feel like I'm very unlucky about the location. The year, you could argue I was unskillful, but I think the location, I'm unfortunate. That is not a good score. That's my worst for a while. Although, to be fair, it's higher than I thought it was going to be. That's at 65%, so it's almost the 2/3 to 3/4 window that I said I was aiming for. So, I mean, it's nowhere near my best ever, but I don't think it's my worst ever either. We've had some disasters on this, so I'll take it. I think that was a bit of a tricky one, but let me know in the comments how you got on. Did you find it tricky as well? Thank you for watching, and bye for now.